First things first, we got the two teams going at it. Team Who going up against Reason Gaming here, and once again, what is a best of 5? And it does look like both teams are running with their A lineup here, so that is always good to see and definitely excited. This should really be a pretty damn good matchup. With that said, my co-caster for today's cast is going to be the one, the only Saint Rock. Saint, how's it going?
It's going just great, man. Today's a day off, Ascension Day and all that, with Jesus flying up and whatnot. So, I've been out in the sun, just relaxing.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
I'm feeling really hyped.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Really? Ascension Day?
Ascension Day.
Isn't that it's definitely a Danish thing, and it's also a Swedish thing.
Okay.
It's not something in America?
I don't know. To be frank,
Really?
I'm not too religious myself, so I can't say I've heard of that. But
All right, fair enough. Maybe like religion in Denmark is pretty much just like knowing when you have a free day off, and that's about it. Like we don't go to church and whatnot. But whatever.
Okay.
Jumping into the game, I suppose.
All right. Yeah, with that said, we are in the game here. And in fact, we're already well developed into the draft. So let's just really start talking about what we're looking at here between these two teams. Real quick, the initial bans, they were Warbeast, Parasite, Puppet Master, and Flux. We had the Ophelia and Amoira, Swiftblade and Amoraxis, and Midas coming out in a Corrupted Disciple. So what is your take here?
Pretty, like, the bans, of course, were pretty standard. I usually consider Puppet Master just a general strong hero, but also like an Imba Boy hero. It's a hero he really likes to play. So I think Slaskadil, who is actually drafting today, I think he banned Puppet Master with that in regard that Imba Boy plays a great Puppet Master.
Yeah.
And also something to notice, Team Who has had 3 different drafters so far. I'm Carry You drafted just like some weeks ago. Yukubik drafted not too long ago, and today Slaskadil is drafting. So that's a little funny. I'm not sure why they're swapping up, but they have a really strong lineup so far. Swiftblade, Midas, and Ophelia, that's definitely strong picks right there. But they're going up against a Moira and a Meraxis and a CD, so far the draft is looking interesting. A lot of moving around.
Yeah, Corrupted Disciple's actually been a hero we have been seeing, definitely making some appearances here lately, so interesting to see him here again with that said. And yeah, Moraxis, no doubt, with those buffs that he received, there's good reason as to why.
Definitely. He hits so hard. Like, if you fail an initiation and he catches a spell with his Arcane Shield, he hits very hard and he runs very fast.
Yeah.
On top of that, he's just generically tanky, and he has an ulti to make him even further tanky. So yeah, you don't want to mess up a gank on Meraxis. That will turn into a return kill, most likely. And CD is one of those carries that usually, like, the new build on CD is going staff on him eventually. Maybe not the first item, but definitely like getting staff makes him tanky, makes his ulti like hit so hard. Like you drop both in life and in armor very fast. And I'm not sure like if they have the burst to kill him.
Yeah.
With the Moira sitting behind him, she can just ulti him whenever he gets in trouble. So far, Imba Boy is drafting a solid lineup around his hero.
Yeah.
CD.
Yeah, it's, obviously that's what we expected to turn out to be, of course. And yeah, because Corrupted Disciple is really one of those interesting carry potential heroes too. Something like a Staff of the Master earlier on him could be pretty powerful to work with. So Solstice though coming out as a jungler for Reason Gaming here, also a little bit of a hard-hitting potential hero himself throughout the game. So getting some nice assisted damage right there.
I'll take that as Imba Boy does not want to run into a situation where he's having to carry his entire team on his shoulders. So he's setting up some more cores with Solstice and Meraxis. In case Meraxis does badly, Solstice will probably do well in the jungle. So there's going to be two cores, 2 carries to worry about for Legion team. And I think that's a solid. I don't think the good old Team 3 strat with just having Balthazar farm a storm up on one guy is. I don't think it's going to work anymore.
Yeah.
People are getting too smart about it.
Definitely so. Ogi being right click though. Coming out for
That's
Team Who.
Interesting. That hero. But again, he's so tanky. And CD, like, he doesn't deal that much burst. And CD is a hero that... Oh, okay. Interesting.
They swap it up there instead.
if this is an aggressive Tremble, it got swapped to Slasker, who usually goes mid. So I'm not sure. It could be like they have two suicide candidates in Surfblade and Midas. Treble should be short laning. There's some pushing synergy actually between Boris and Minus armor to the towers with an Ophelia and a Rhapsody as well, and Midas for that matter. They have a really strong push line. I just realized that. I think Boy just realized that as well, so he's going to be looking at a last suicide hero that can counter push decently while suiciding. And what hero would that be?
Bubbles comes to mind right off the bat.
Bubbles could work. Yeah, he's pretty good in the early team fights with his ulti and
Good
whatnot.
against Rhapsody.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you know the lockdown with the ulti for CD, so he can keep up his conduit. Could work. Could work.
That doesn't seem like a Zane hero though.
No, exactly. I was just thinking that. Like Zane doesn't play those. He plays like Pharaoh, like a massive Pharaoh. That's. I mean, Pharaoh is just his hero, and then like Kinesis, interesting. A boxy hero on Zane. I'm sorry. That hero is kind of boxy. So
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fair point there. But yeah, Zane readies up with it right away, so it is going to be a Kinesis instead of not necessarily a great counter pusher compared to others. So it kind of goes against what you were maybe suggesting there.
Yeah, maybe they're just like trying to like survive the storm and hide in their base until CD gets farmed enough. But this team, like this Legion team, if they execute correctly, they're going to be able to take the team fights early on, and they're going to be able to take the towers, like the outer base towers, really efficiently. So, Recent Gaming is kind of with this draft, they're a little bit greedy, I want to say. Kinesis deals a lot of single target damage, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to weather the storm against Ophelia, Rhapsody, and Tremble eventually pushing on his, knocking on his door.
I do find it very interesting, too, who's playing what here on, well, Team Who's side. Jim Carrey, usually their carry player, but he's playing the Midas here, and Certus is, sure enough, ending up on the Tremble.
He is the Tremble player.
Okay.
So that makes sense. That makes sense to me. Certus is just like, he is notoriously known for playing Tremble
That's right.
in TMM. But, oh, yeah, okay, so Slaskadoo is going to be soloing mid, it looks like. Tremble what? No. Tremble is heading bot lane. He's just positioning a mount up there so he can gank CD eventually. But Boy sees it. But he can't get in there.
Yeah, they knew that. I mean, that's a little unfortunate for Tremble, but yeah, exactly. He can't actually get up in there, apparently. So I don't know if Morio's going to maybe come over, or use
he's going to eat a tree, maybe.
No, they're not going to.
Okay. Well, he has a possibility of ganking then.
Yeah. I mean, they know that he did something. Like, he ran all the way up here. They saw him running away, so it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, they know.
Oh, they're going to hatchet.
That's what I'm waiting for. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Tankerfed playing the jungler this time around, not Nier. So that's going to be the lineup from Recent Gaming. And Omi is back instead of Bray having to step in, who did a solid job bringing his former team to DreamHack.
To say the least, yeah.
Yeah, so...
that's a good point there. Of course, just qualifying the fourth qualifiers this last week, so congratulations again to them. Feeling good, I'm sure, but now want to advance on to what's going to ultimately be another $14,000 on the line in the bracket stage here of the Deadeye Penalty League. So some good money, some nice spending money even, going into DreamHack would be pretty cool. Real quickly, though, I mean, you saw Quincy kind of pointing out there that Certus is back. So, yeah, that's right. Certus was MIA for a little bit there. Q-Zane was actually playing in place of him for Team Who, but Certus is back, so apparently Certus is going to be stepping back in as actually the carry role, and Jim Carrey will be the suicide instead, and Shorecon in the wood. So kind of changing it up all over the place. Quincy with some extra insight there.
A little bit like risky to do in match like this. Like I don't know if you have the schedule up for this tournament, but this is a very important match for both teams.
Oh yeah.
They have like if Recent Gaming loses this, they will not advance through the group stages.
Correct.
And same with Team Who. They're gonna have Team Who has to win against Recent Gaming, or they have to win against Sync.
Exactly.
And I'm just gonna go ahead and say I would take I would try to win against Recent Gaming before having a last chance against Sync.
Yeah, no, yeah, I was actually kind of going over that myself, and yeah, that hit me. So yeah, exactly. Team Who right now they're 1-0 series, where Reason's 1-1. So as you're pointing out, if Team Who loses this, there's still technically a chance. And yeah, if they beat Sync, then it could be a three-way tie, and then it goes to the individual games. But exactly as you're saying there, you don't want to have to rely on that, of course. If you beat Reason here, you're advancing on with Sync, and Reason would be knocked out. Solaire Club, the other team in the group, they are already out. They finished 0-3. Yep. As far as their overall record goes. So, yeah, very, very big matchup here once again in this best of the 5. But
we're having Swiftblade versus Meraxes mid lane. I would say Meraxes is going to have a great time against Swiftblade, but Swiftblade is also managing pretty well here with 320 GPM. Meraxes is slight ahead, but both of them are kind of just farming up. I didn't expect much else. Like, Meraxes can't really kill Swiftblade with the spin, and Swiftblade can't kill Meraxes, so I think they're both just gonna, let the farm happen.
Yeah, Swiftblade middle, I mean, in general, though, that's just rare seeing. Obviously, we're so used to seeing a Suicide or even a short lane, but, so you like it here.
It's really hard to gank a Swiftblade. Sure. Like, he presses his Blade Frenzy and runs away. That's a 5-second magic emoji. That's hard to deal with as a ganking support and whatnot. So, I mean, it's the same sense of like laning at bubbles in mid lane. You get some farm on the hero, and the hero doesn't die. Mostly XP though, but this matchup, Swiftblade is managing really well.
Yeah.
And top lane, Midas is level 2 only, so he's having a rough time against CD and Moro.
Yeah, he's what is he? Only 1-0. Yeah, level 2. Jim Carrey, you can play the Suicide up here. I mean, is that very surprising, though? Moira, boxing him out. Corrupted himself is obviously very good in the laning phase, too. So, maybe not too surprising, but I don't know. You think different?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. It's pretty much to be expected. Midas is a strong Suicide hero, but he's going to have a tough time against the CD and the Moira. That's just how it is. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Solstice is farming. What's he farming? 230? That's sort of to be expected. He must have he got Catman as well. That's not a good camp for Solstice.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ophelia is sitting on 215. So Ophelia is farming worse than Solstice so far. Neither of them is kind of like trying to get ganks up. So,
Solstice is kind of one of those interesting junglers, too, as far as his timing goes, because, obviously being the day-night hero, where it's 7.5 minutes, it gets nighttime, so he switches forms right there, and the skill set changes. I think it's safe to say his daytime is a little bit better because of the charge for the ganking purposes earlier on. So, keeping that in mind, he basically has 3 more minutes right here to maybe try to get some kind of gank set up, or else it's not going to be as efficient for that.
Yeah, it kind of comes down to what I was saying. Like, Swiftblade is hard to gank, especially for Solstice. Like, his charge, like, Swiftblade just going to spin when he sees the charge going off. And that's, like, mid lane is one of the easier lanes to gank for Solstice. And then, obviously, he has the opportunity or the ability to gank top lane. But that's a Midas who can just use his Elemental Warp and cancel the charge. So, I think Nier just realizes, Tangafet realizes that he's in a tough position when it comes to ganking. And so he's just gonna play passive and farm.
Yeah.
And a smart choice. Like, if a gank fails, he's gonna be a non-factor when the push comes, and it will come.
Absolutely, yeah. No, that is interesting, though, noticing that it is Tankafet here with that said. Again, he's their jungler. It's not too surprising in that sense, but not really a hero that you would expect to see him on, perhaps, playing the Solstice here. More the Ophelia, the Parasite, the Tempest even. But, top lane, Midas. Here we go. There goes Tankafet with the stun, but his team wasn't really ready. The Electric Tide did hit. Moira with the flank, but in the end, Midas is going to be fine. So I guess they were ready, kind of. I mean, Corrupted's Electric Tide did hit max range, but it just wasn't enough damage in the end.
Yeah, again, like, Midas has an escape. He's a strength hero. He's very tanky. Hard to get a kill on, especially when you dive the tower. And yeah, it's like Tangafet did go boots, so he's not going completely like just passive build, but I don't think he's going to be catching a lot of luck on his ganks.
Yeah.
Ooh, Nier. That was a close.
Oh, this was slashes, but it's not enough damage in the end. The Invis coming out.
Nier must have been so afraid. Like, that was the entire ulti went off. Actually, no, Swiftblade didn't have enough he didn't have enough mana for a spin.
No. And he also doesn't have crit yet, so obviously no RNG from that. coming out.
Okay, so actually Nia just did the math, and that's a push. There's a push.
Yep.
Ophelia, actually not. Yep. Yeah, she was there.
Middle lane in the meantime. Swiftblade in a lot of trouble right here. Moira coming in, and Moira actually getting credit for the Bloodlust kill in the end. Moraxis doing most of the work right there, but Moira just coming in to clean up really on a Swiftblade. So not only does he not get the kill on her seconds earlier, but eventually ends up being a turn onto him and getting the Bloodlust in favor of Reason Gaming. The push does continue though at the bottom lane.
Rhapsody, Trimble, and Ophelia, it's really strong push lineup. And Ophelia just got 2 Minotaurs now, so you don't want to run into that ball either. And they really just well played from Nier. He realized that Swiftblade is going to be out of mana pretty soon. That's going to be our chance to get a kill on the Swiftblade. And they took advantage of that. And that's just game sense right there.
Yeah.
Bot lane, Kinesis Kinesis can't counter push. And as soon as Ophelia rotates over, she has level 6 now as well. Like, this bot tower is going to take a lot of pressure, and I'm not sure if Recent Gaming can really defend it.
Yeah, we'll see
or
if
they want to defend it.
Continue. Exactly, that's also ultimately a choice that they have to make there too. But yeah, going back to Tankafet real quickly on Solstice, again, Quincy pointing out that this actually is the first game on record that we have him playing the Solstice here. So worth keeping in mind that maybe a little bit being unfamiliar with the hero, at least in tournament play. Now, you know, as far as him practicing with TMM and stuff, I'm sure he's done plenty of times.
He knows the hero. I get what you're saying, but Tankafet used to play jungle as well. Like, it's not his first time jungling, so he definitely knows his way around the Solstice. He plays a really amazing Ophelia, but his Solstice is definitely legit as well. I can assure everyone about that.
Yeah,
Midas catching Moira here.
Put on some auto attacks. Does have a transmute, but can't connect right there.
Nope,
and Moira's going to get away. Yep. There we go. She ports out. You see Boris even coming in trying to get there in time for the assistance. So Certes, you mentioned, he's very comfortable on this hero. We have seen it before on Honcast as well. You know, you mentioned the TMM, he's great with it, but it did kind of hit to me that, yeah, we have seen him play here a couple of times as well, and yeah, it's impressive stuff. So he is having a good time as the point, 350 gold per minute, and again, assisting with that Boris right there, at least trying to. But Corrupted Disciple does lead the way, going the Steam Boots on top of the Energizer, and now it's their turn to push the top lane, apparently.
I think Imbo's next item is going to be a staff. He's going to be so tanky with staff, and currently Midas is not that high level, so it's going to be hard for the Legion team to burst him down, really. Mid lane.
Yep, Swift Slashes onto Moraxis right there. The stomp comes out, but of course the spinning Swift Blade, he don't give a crap right there. He spins right through it, and down goes Moraxis. Solstice trying to set up. He has his nighttime ulti, which would be the fear effect. In fact, might find an opportunity to use it off to the side right here. Mass control nuke onto Ophelia. She will survive the onslaught, though. In fact, does have it. There's the ultimate from Solstice that we're talking about. Moraxis flies back. Big transmit on the 3 heroes, though. Stun from Moira. Midas is able to elemental warp out, but Trembles joining the party. Moira is picked off, but Midas and Ophelia dead as well. So far, 2-for-1 exchange. Make it a 2-for-2 as Solstice finally falls, but Tremble's in trouble trying to get away. Swiftblade cannot, in the meantime, against Moraxis right there. So the big picture, a 3-for-2 exchange in favor of Reason Gaming coming out on top there.
Solstice ulti saved the fight so hard. Wow. Like, it just demolished the Legion lineup. Like, they were so sure they were going to go up that ramp and do big plays. And then Tankafet just gets a full charge off on the entire team. Oh, that's so much damage.
10.5 minutes in right now. It's our first big fight we've had, and of course Reason Gaming building some momentum off of that. So you're talking about the possible Staff of the Master first on Corrupted. He buys a Mighty Blade, so technically it could be, but probably more likely a Shrunken Head here, you would think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against it. It's not a bad item, definitely not. But Imboboy, knowing Imboboy, I'd say he's gonna go. He's gonna go for the staff.
You still think it's gonna be staff?
Yeah, I still think. Okay. I think I know my German. I think I know him.
Well, then why would he go the Mighty Blade instead of the Glowstone? Isn't the Glowstone just more efficient in the end?
Yeah, that's a good point, Bricky.
It's only 200 more gold.
That's a really good point, actually. I'm not sure I can argue against that. I think you might be spot on there.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, something to notice, Meraxis didn't pop his ulti. He used his stun instead. He could have survived. Mid lane.
Oh, wow, yeah. Well, we see it the Ancients right here. Swiftblade. No, the protectability is not going to matter, though. Immediate cancel by Tankafet. And that's just such a smart use of it. Oh, they both got killed by neutrals.
Yep.
Wow.
Right here.
Oh, that is so unfortunate at the same time. Now, they're going to steal the Ancients at least, so it's still a victory for a reason, but it just wasn't as big as it could have been. They're not even going to get the Ancients, and now Meraxis is in trouble. He does have that Matrix, as you were talking about. Will he need it's the question. It doesn't look like Onmi is going to need it just yet unless they want to turn it. There we go. Pops the Matrix. He does have a little bit of team support nearby, but ultimately it's not going to happen as he falls back from there. But man, they both got denied.
Yeah, that Dragon Master can buy his own boots now.
There you go.
Unfortunately, he got picked off, so no boots for Dragon Master.
Yeah.
Anyway, double damage on Omi in mid lane and a pole key. That's an early pole key, 12 minutes. He has 410 DPM. He's snowballing through this game. And as I was about to say, the first team fight of the game, Meraxis got killed because he didn't pop his ulti. That could have given him just enough HP to survive the Swiftblade ulti. And Ophelia didn't use ulti either. I'm not sure if it was mana problems, but that's some really big ultis you want to get off in a team fight. So yeah, maybe you should prioritize your mana a little bit better if you're both teams.
Yeah, I did notice that early on in the fight. I agree with you there, especially on the Ophelia side of things. In fact, I got the replay up, and yeah, she died by the time she maybe wanted to use it, and obviously wasn't able to as a result. So Chelsea's trying to sit on it and use it later on, but in the end ended up not using it. And yeah, Recent Gaming coming in on top there. But you talked about Onmi on Meraxis, got the portal key. Look at the first choice here for Tankafet in the meantime too. He also goes to the portal key. Do you like that option?
I think he's going to try to set up stuff. Like, he's going to try... Obviously, Pole Key is a great tool for setting up ultis, but it's also a pretty decent ganking tool, especially together with Meraxis in mid lane. And I think that's a plan here. Also in mid lane, Boris is coming in.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Not going to be able to catch more a little bit too quick right there. Boris is hiding in the trees, though. I assume that they know, something's up here, of course.
Tang is ready with an ulti. Watch out for his ulti in this team fight.
That Lunar Judgment. Now, 15-minute mark will be the daytime change. Ophelia is going to get jumped, though, by Meraxis. Here comes that support. Swift Slashes. A lot of illusions, though. So they're really not the most powerful. Swift Slashes right there. The Lunar Judgment completely nullified because of the Arcane Vortex as well. As Mora falls shortly after. Down goes Kinesis, and now Solstice corrupted. And Meraxis still trying to get away. No, Meraxis jumps back in. If anything, try to save the day, but it's not going to be enough. Down goes Solstice. A 3-for-0. Make it 3-for-1, actually. Rhapsody did go down, but definitely in favor of Team Who, and it could be more as Meraxis gets caught by the net, and he will too fall. A hat trick for Sasuke playing the Swiftblade in the big picture, and now here comes the push in the middle tower on top of that. Well, the second fight, this one goes in favor of Team Who.
I'm speechless, I'm not, but Moira and Solstice, they did not talk together that fight, or if they did, they didn't understand what they were saying, what each other was saying, because Nier just completely nullified Tangus ulti, and those are two really big team fight ultis, so and they're gonna lose 2 towers as a result here to the snowballing team with Ophelia, Midas, Rhapsody, and Boris. It's just, that's not what you can't afford to lose team fights against this team. Then it's much better to just not take him. But they were confident in the fact that they could win it. Omi initiating on Ophelia, but yeah, just poor coordination, and all of a sudden Team Who is in the lead.
Yeah, no, I think they could have, to be honest, especially since the Swift Slash from Swiftblade, I think it maybe did 1 bounce on an actual hero. I mean, the damage from that was minimal, so almost kind of wasted. But exactly, the Arcane Vortex kind of really screwed it up as far as the synergy goes, and thus made the Lunar Judgment useless. The Corrupted Disciple did get there a little bit later on in the fight, so yeah, not all the communication there for Recent Gaming, and well, Team Who capitalized big time with that 4-for-1 exchange. So now they take the lead, and as you're pointing out, this is definitely a team that will scale pretty damn well as the game picks up here between Tremble and Swiftblade, no doubt. So Tremble here, he has 2,700 gold on top of the Thunderclaw, of course. So what are we thinking here for Tremble? What does he usually go here, I guess? Maybe the Shrunken Next or the Brutalizer even, or?
I don't know. That depends on how greedy he is. I think Shrunken Head would be really good, but he still has a little bit of, he needs to get in there, and he can't really get in there without a Shrunken Head. However, even with a stronger head, CD will be able to drain his damage, which will make him useless. So Basher could work, but it's still he's gonna be super squishy. It's between Basher and Shrunken Head at least. That would be my best guess. And CD is going for Shrunken Head. You called it. And my guess is he's going staff after that though.
Yeah.
He will get stabbed this game. Imba boy, you're gonna get it. I can feel it.
Well,
anyway,
I mean, is Staff, if he's trying to be more of the carry of the team, and especially since they're even falling behind a little bit right here, is Staff the best option anymore? I mean, isn't that more of kind of a snowball item, to be fair?
Yeah, technically you're right. But this lineup with Meraxis, Solstice, Moira, and Kinesis, I think they have a lot of sustainability in their fights. They may not have a lot of heal, but they have the Moira ulti to utilize someone getting gone on. Meraxis with his ulti, obviously being very tanky. I mean, he could choose to go Firebrand, something like a Geobane, but Staff of the Master does a lot when you're fighting, like in a prolonged team fight. It applies a lot of minus armor. It gives you tankiness and just I'd say you're right on the mark there. It's not so good when you're behind, but I wonder if he's not going to go for it anyway. Mora is just fine, but Boris is oh, Kura.
Is she fine? I mean, yeah, the courier kind of catching their attention too, and in the end, they're not going to get anything out of it. But it does buy time for recent gaming to realize something's up. Solstice, yeah, he's going to fall back as well. Even he does have that portal key, but he's going to make sure to.
I think they want to get out right now.
Oh, they need to, because here's the chase. Ghost Marcher, Swift Slashes. Oh, he couldn't press it. Oh, that's brutal.
He didn't see him.
Yeah.
He didn't see him. He was going for the Kura.
Yep.
That Kura is a hero. He saved CD. There's nothing like Swiftblade could have ulted CD even with his shrunken head, and CD would have CD's TP would have been cancelled. So yeah, that Kura taking one for the team, and yeah. But yeah, Recent Gaming is now dodging team fights. They got their fingers burned last fight, and they're gonna go for some split pushing instead against going straight up against the death ball.
Yeah. So 19
Makes
minutes
sense.
in. Yeah, it's the momentum is definitely built here pretty nicely for Team Who, no doubt. And again, goes back to Tremble and Swiftblade, both doing pretty well. The Abyssal Skull and Swiftblade, obviously a great team item to have, along with that Energizer on top of that. I mean, that's one of the things that I feel like, especially as of late, for whatever reason, we've been really stressing the lack of just team items in these games we've been watching. Have been kind of atrocious, but Team Who's been on top of it. In fact, Shorkon was obviously one of my co-casters here from time to time, and he too is on that belief that teams undervalue it, and so making a point perhaps for his team. But here comes the Pursue. No, not going to be happening though. Oh, but Midas going in, transmit on Meraxis, and now it's Allegion's turn to jump in. There's the Arcane Vortex.
Huge ulti.
Stalling it up, but again, the Lunar Judgment completely nullified. And now Meraxis coming out on top. The Protective Melody is going to be a full duration. No, he gets stunned out immediately as Rhapsody in the background is going to try to deal with him. But Corrupted Disciple's dead. That's the big target. Tank effect goes down as well. The teamwork here of Team Who is definitely on point, whereas for Reason, not necessarily.
Omi is so YOLO. He just went in. He just charged 5 heroes, and I was like, how's that gonna work out? Oh my god.
Well, they want to try again right here, and this time it will kind of work. Swiftblade goes down. Obviously a buyback on a Solstice helping things here, as Ophelia also gonna get caught. So Team Who overstaying their welcome a little bit, did not realizing the buyback in time, and now the chase continues. In fact, Tremble gonna be stunned, and actually he could also be dead. He doesn't have a shrunken head right here. Yeah, he's gonna be locked down and killed eventually. So what was a pretty damn good fight for Team Who. Ends up, honestly, not too bad for Reason.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing you need against an early lineup that can push a lot. You need a buyback. If you don't have a buyback and you get killed outside base, there's a good chance you're going to lose racks. So, really nice nice heads up from Tanga keeping a buyback. And same goes for Omi. But, yeah, they're just... So, you were talking about the Polki and Solstice earlier, and it's really good for positioning and catching. But when it comes to actually brawling in a fight, you know, it doesn't give you anything but positioning. So he needs to get Insanitarios, maybe even going straight for the Abyssal to get some teamfight items. Because
Well,
they're, yeah, as you said, they're lacking teamfight items, and they're taking a lot of teamfights.
especially being Tankafet the player. I mean, he's notorious for going those team fight items. He obviously on
Oh yeah,
Parasite
the
all the
Parasite?
time. The Soul's Bulwark, the Abyssal Skull, he makes priority to get that. So when I see a Portal Key on him playing a Solstice, again, the idea there's with the initiation, sure, but they already have that. I mean, follow-up's nice, but yeah, I think we kind of really witnessed that last fight that he is pretty squishy ultimately, you know, just jumping in with that Portal Key. So, and he's one of those heroes too, he can go many of items. I mean, it's Sanitarius, Alchemist Bones we've seen on him before, the Abyssal Skull route instead, Soul's Bulwark, you get more team fight, so. But he chose more of the initiator role, at least initially here, so.
Yeah, and Kinesis also spending 2k on a Polo Key, so the game plan, I guess, is to get in and kill someone someone from this team before the fight actually starts, like initiate the fight with that. And looks like CD is going for a Firebrand here, I'm not sure. Like they should be going for Ophelia then, because she like has a lot of she's the healer. Oh, someone
Well,
get killed.
That
Actually,
Ophelia,
there we go.
as you're talking
Not
about her.
Yeah, I mean, not exactly a team fight, but a great pickup nonetheless.
Yeah. Moraxis actually had the Invis rune and happened to find her in the jungle, sat on top of her and waited for Kinesis to come over, who also has a Portal Key, of course, now, as well as an Arcana on top of that. So, yeah, a very gotcha-oriented team is what Reason Gaming is clearly going for here, as far as their makeup is concerned. So, it's going to fall back, though. A Corrupted Disciple, he is building, as you pointed out, that Firebrand route, trying to be more of the carry presence. Going to be caught out right here. Swift Blade, though, not going to pursue. More scaring it off. What did I just... Look at this pickup on Tankafet. The Thunderclaw.
Yeah, I have done that in TMM. It's kind of funny going Solstice Thunderclaw, because, you know, your charge gives you extra attack speed, meaning you get a lot of procs off.
Okay.
But I think we can both agree that that's not a great pickup against, like, this kind of lineup. I honestly think an Alk Bones would be amazing against Ophelia. He could have gone that earlier, but it's kind of late to get it now. But an Alk Bones into Sanitarius and the Abyssal would make a very tanky Solstice hit fairly hard, and help CD not get so much pressure in fights. So Solstice has never bought a Thunderclaw in a tournament before. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a Team M build that works pretty well if
Exactly,
you're
yeah.
snowballing.
But it just goes so against what he's doing here, though.
Yeah, it's.
Well,
I mean, you don't want to pull key in and have a Thunderclaw like that. His build doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, because he's gonna be fairly, like, compared to another build on Solstice, he's fairly squishy. With the pole key, and then he goes Thunderclaw that gives him no survivability either. So he's going straight damage, is what I'm going to call that.
You know, I go back to not only Tankafet the player, when we're just so used to seeing more of that team-oriented items, but you know, as we were talking about earlier with Team Who, making a point that they're doing a great job of that. The Plated Greaves, the Abyssal Skull, the Energizer, the Astrolabe. I mean, they got all these items here taken care of. You look at the Hellborn side, they have an Energizer, and that's it.
Yeah.
No Ring of the Teacher even, obviously nothing like a Sackstone or anything like that. So the auras are very much lacking, and Solstice would be that ideal candidate, but instead he chooses to go with Thunderclaw, more farm potential, sure, and yeah, it's some decent damage output, you pointed out with the attack speed buff that he can have, but now he even picks up a Mighty Blade. And, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that's even a Brutalizer here.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking that. I really hope it's a Strong in Head, because else he's just going to die in like, when he's trying to kill someone in a team fight.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually he's going to build into a Basher, Brutalizer, I think, against a Swift Blade and a Tremble. But he's going a funky build here. Moraxis just finished his health bar, so that's going to be really good initiation tool, of course. But yeah, I'm really astounded that they're not getting any teamfight items against a team that's obviously going to push you.
Well,
but I think the question in this game now is, when will Team Who decide to go for the final push? Are they going to go Kong first, or what are their plan? Well, right now they're doing a... Oh, sorry.
Well, I was kind of on that note. I mean, doesn't that go to the fact, though, if you're Team Who here, This right now it's a very even game as far as gold and experience goes. It's practically, you know, very close. Only 26 minutes in. This is really not much of a lead for either team. But do you think that benefits Team Who more ultimately because of the way they scale? Do they scale better, you think, into the late game?
It depends. I was about to mention that they're doing a good job of locking, like choking out recent gaming, stealing their jungle, making sure that CD is not farming that much. And if they can keep that up, they're gonna be carrying. They're gonna have the stronger late game because of that farm. But in an even game later on, I think Hellborn team is gonna take it with Solstice, CD, Meraxes, Moira, and Kinesis.
Really? Okay.
Swiftblade, yeah. I think they have the damage to take someone out almost
Well,
immediately.
speaking of that damage, again, they find a lone hero, in this case the Swiftblade, and the free kill on him. That was a Veiled Rock Gank, by the way, so good use right there. Moira, she actually uses her Arcane Vortex. I'm not sure. Okay, it's just the Ophelia minions that she got caught with.
Just want to get away.
Yeah, just trying to run away. But meanwhile, bottom lane, however, Rhapsody goes down as Tremble finds her.
Kinesis.
Or is that? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Kinesis. Looked like Rhapsody for a second, but you're right. It was actually
really
Kinesis.
weird if he killed his own team.
Yeah, that would not be a smart thing to do. Friendly fire. Could you imagine like Counter-Strike? It's a friendly fire action going on. Oh, jeez, the game would be so different.
Oh yeah, like AOE. Anyway, that's the Kongor I was talking about. They're going for the Kong. They don't. I mean, as you're saying, they don't necessarily have to end this game. They don't need to feel that they're in a hurry. But I mean, when you're in the advantage, why not push further and make sure you build out your advantage?
Yeah.
And that's what a Kong is going to do, in my opinion.
Well, they got the token on Tremble, I'm sure. There you go.
Yep.
Picks it up. Man, I mean, really, both these teams. The more I am thinking, hearing what you're saying there, yeah, they both definitely scale pretty well ultimately. But God, I just think Tremble though, especially with his pass with the Impalers, if he's got some really good farming in the late game, it's hard to deal with him. Now, the Conduit, of course, is definitely a big factor. So
that's what I'm thinking.
That's exactly. If he's able to get a good Conduit channel onto Tremble as earlier in the fight, then that would be the big difference maker, sure.
Yeah,
but
that's exactly that's my point of view as well. It comes down to Imberboy's ability to put the Conduit on Tremble, yeah, I think Imberboy can make Tremble a non-factor for. How much is it? Is it 10 seconds that it's on? 10 seconds? Where Tremble is not going to hit very hard.
Yeah.
And yeah, looks like Immerboy is going for a Shroud here. So eventually building into a Conjuro. Which is interesting.
They have a bound down Rhapsody here.
Yeah. I'm not sure why he's choosing to go for the what's it called, Shroud. It doesn't give you a whole lot other than I mean, again, positioning, and maybe some pickoff potential, but I'd rather see, like, I don't know, Wingbow, for instance, would make more sense to me, just because of, like, he's going to be tanking probably a Tremble, and yeah.
Yeah, well, it could still be a Wingbow, to be fair. I mean, it is just a Steam staff that he has right now.
You're right. It could be Wingbow. All right, so I'm hoping he goes Wingbow over the Shroud. It's just I've seen him go Conjuro on CD before. Like he goes in with the Conduit, then he goes Invis, and it's you don't know where he is. He's just moving around you, stealing your damage.
Sapping that damage, yeah.
Yep.
It is definitely a powerful tactic, but as we're talking about, they have a bound eye here. Bottom lane, they're going to try to find him, and this could be a big pick right here. Tremble chasing him down. He doesn't have... Oh, if he gets a bash proc... No! That first hit bash unsuccessful. Meanwhile, back up here, Swiftblade in the middle lane. He's making his getaway, going to go for the spin, and it looks like he should be fine. Yeah, he's out of range.
That's a Swiftblade. That use Moira and follow up when Rex is helpful. Why not?
Yeah, they choose not to. Look at Tremble though with the Nullfire Blade here.
Yeah.
This next
he's going all in on his Impaler's ability.
Yeah.
Can
you purge off Conduit?
I think you can purge it off on yourself. So you're not gonna like. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can purge it off on yourself, but on CD it stays, I believe. Not entirely sure on that. I haven't done it myself.
Okay, but I mean, even so, if that's the case, you would think that getting it off himself would So
Yeah.
that goes back to what we're talking about, how if they're able to get that on him and sap his damage, but now with the Nullifier Blade, kind of changes it a little bit.
CD
case,
is... No, okay. I think they could make some plays with the Mara ulti here. There's a lot of split farming on Legion's side, and with Mirax's Hellflower, I feel like they're playing very scared. They don't feel like they have vision enough to go out, and it's just... I'm still amazed at how even this game is.
Yeah.
I feel like Team Who is in a definite advantage. Also, mid lane.
Oh, they catch Solstice right here. Boris is the one, and obviously Tremble gets her to follow it up, and shortly after, man, that damage output right there, showing it off. Obviously, he popped the Shrunken Head as well, but with that passive of his in the Impalers.
He has a buyback, though, on Tangafet. So if a team fight starts, he will use his last buyback.
Well, we'll see if he probably is going to use, no, not just yet. There's the Stomp. Obviously, Tremble does have the token alive. He takes a lot of damage there as the mass control was just used. Midas jumps into the back. Protect the Melody. He needs to stay in range of that. He will at the last second, and it keeps him alive ultimately. Meanwhile, Swift slashes out across his eyeball. He pops the assassin. Trying to barely live, but he needs to get back. The Electric Tide turns it on a Swift player right there. Ophelia also goes down, and down goes Tremble with the token. That Lunar Judgment, I believe it did connect on a Tremble right there that time.
Yes.
And now he's trying to outrun him, or the rest of the team even. And it looks like his teammates at least are going to get out, but not Tremble himself. Team Who, they went a little too deep right there.
Huge Rhapsody ulti.
Yeah.
I mean, Risen still came out on top. Tangafit did use his buyback, as I was saying. Omi missed his stun on Midas or Tremble at the tower. But Solstice did connect with his ulti, and that slowed them enough to catch him. But yeah, strong team fight from Recent Gaming. They're definitely... I mean, the push lineup is not pushing so much.
Not working out too well, but yeah, it's... Again, what I take from that fight right there, Team Who, they got way... They know... Corrupted Disciple was down to, I think, under 100 life at that point, and they just really tried to commit to actually finish him off. Yeah, I'm catching the middle lane here. Obviously, they jump Moraxis, and the free kill happens there, so good catch from Team Who, but... I think they wanted it so badly they got tunnel vision that obviously then, well, he stayed alive and then they turned it because of how deep they went for that kill. So
that Shroud saved his butt so hard. He had like 30 HP and surviving that. That was pretty huge. And no, they did have an eye, but Rhapsody was staying like really far back. Rhapsody wasn't dying with the rest of the team, so the Shroud did a lot of work in his own base.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did choose to go for the Shroud, as I was mentioning earlier. I'm not like... It does give you some slow when you build it into Conjure later on, but not a fan. Oh, mid lane.
Yeah, Corrupted Disciple, he is going to fall here. They do pick him off. Obviously, the Pound Eye nearby, and making sure to catch him there. And now with Corrupted, does he have a buyback? He does. He does have both of his buybacks. He has the one here, so... If he finds it necessary, but that's a big kill for Team Who. And once again, they head back towards the top lane.
Forcing the buyback here.
They drop the tower, but yeah, they definitely will. More Axis, he just resurrects, so you figure it's just a matter of initiating, and then Corrupted Disciple with buyback to assist. There we go. There's the buyback jump on to Tremble, but the beautiful counter from Rhapsody. The portal key herself, she jumps in. They get the melee rack down. Tremble still well alive, and he's doing some good damn work right here. That Shrunken Head popped. And now he's putting in the auto attacks with the rest of his team support. Down goes Corrupted once again. He's staying dead this time, and Team Who. That is a huge push right here. I don't know if it's game just yet, but they're going to build a lot of a lead now. The biggest lead of the game so far. Up to 6,500 gold lead. The Rack's being killed, and now they go to the middle lane. Not much Kinesis can do by herself here.
Nope, that's going to be double Rex. This game is over.
Very likely.
As soon as Recent Gaming calls the CC at least. Because it's going to be hard for them to call. They're actually going to go for the melee racks here bot lane as well.
Why not? I mean,
yeah.
you got the time for it. And so the push finally came together here, St. Rocks. And that is going to do it. GG, well played. Game one, going to Team Who. The big fight at the climactic fight there. I mean, up until that last fight, it was a very even game, but the pick on a Corrupted led into that.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. That was just like Searcher's porting in, catching CD while CD was trying to kill his mount, I think. And it's just the game was so even like 5 minutes ago, and then we could feel it as casters as well as players that Team Who definitely had the advantage, but in game the stats were very even. So yeah, that goes to show that stats can't always be trusted, Quincy.
How about Rhapsody too? You mentioned the five before, did a great
Oh, that
job,
was a
but man,
huge
that
ulti.
portal key, yeah, I got the replay up right now. Negated so much damage on Tremble there initially, and ultimately allowed him to get the Shark head up, and then obviously set up some turn there.
That was just solid plays from Yugabik, and he decided to put inside trees as well, so it would be harder for them to catch him and stop his ulti. That was just like that's amazing. Some people would like most people would just pull key next to the target that they want to protect and then start their ulti, and then some stun on the other team side will stop the ulti.